Hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and this is currently my fourth video. But on this video I am going to be giving you a preview for the Tottenham Manchester City game, 4:30 kick-off on Sunday at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Now I am going to give you my prediction on this. I think Manchester City are going to win this game because Tottenham have not been so good this season, surprisingly. Now, obviously, Tottenham's record against Man City in recent years has been very, very poor, especially in the league, because Tottenham are winless in their last, I think, six games against Man City in the Premier League. Tottenham are sitting sixth in the Premier League at the moment. Obviously, Tottenham's ambitions this season is to finish in that top four. Tottenham are only those 6 points behind top four. And of course, they are around 17 points behind Man City because Man City are on 51 points. And obviously, City's ambition in the league is to get second place because obviously, Pep Guardiola has given up on Manchester City's title hopes, basically. He knows that City are not going to win the title. Obviously, they are 19 points behind Liverpool and Man City. But, like I said, Liverpool are going to win the Premier League this season for the first time in 30 years. So they are going to end their 30-year, drought. Liverpool are unbeaten in 41 Premier League games. I think they're unbeaten in like 52 or 53 games at Anfield, is it now? And, they've registered 70 points from 24, or is it 23 matches. So Liverpool have been absolutely fantastic this season. So, obviously, you've got Tottenham coming into this game on the back of a 1-1 draw with Southampton in the FA Cup last weekend that was. So, obviously, Tottenham have got to play Southampton in a replay. And obviously, City are coming into this game on the back of a 1-0 defeat to us in the Carabao Cup semi-final second leg. But obviously, Manchester City, of course, went up through over the two legs because they did win 3-2 on aggregate. And obviously, Manchester City now have progressed, to the Carabao Cup final for the third time in a row. They've won it in the past 2 seasons of Man City, and I think, they are going to win it this season because I think, they are going to comfortably beat Aston Villa and Manchester City. So, yeah, they are going to win it. Obviously, they're not going to win the league. I don't see City winning the Champions League because they haven't got a pedigree in the Champions League. But there's also a chance that Man City, can win the FA Cup. Basically, they can win the FA Cup. But City, are still one of the best teams in England. Obviously, like I mentioned, they've won back-to-back titles. Obviously, they was hoping this season that they could win their third title on the trot. So they was hoping to, match what we did back in 2007, 2008 and 2009. Of course, a couple of years ago, they registered 100 points in one single season. But I think Liverpool are going to either match what City did a couple of years ago, or they're actually going to beat Manchester City's record. But they haven't been as good this season. But I still feel as though that they're going to beat Tottenham on Sunday. Despite that, though, it was a draw earlier on this season at the Etihad. It was 2-2. Going to give you a bit of team news building up to the game. Of course, Manchester City have got some injuries. Obviously, Laporte, I think he's got fatigue. He's fatigue or something like that, is he? He was out with any injury for quite a while, was Laporte. And Laporte is a very imperative player for Man City. I don't think he also played on Thursday, did Fernandinho. Of course, they've got Benjamin Mendy out with injury. Leroy Sané is still out with injury. So Man City have had quite a few injuries. So it says, all of them that I've just mentioned could be a doubt for the game. But I do believe Pep Guardiola probably, will make some changes, from, the game on Wednesday night. As for Tottenham, as you all know, they've got some injuries themselves. Obviously, they've got Harry Kane out. He's going to be out for quite a while, is Harry Kane. So obviously reflecting on the injury to Harry Kane, of course, Tottenham are looking for a replacement for Harry Kane due to his current injury. Obviously, like I said, it's transfer deadline day now. The window shuts at 11 tonight, so Tottenham are looking to try and get someone in, obviously, until, Harry Kane does recover. Obviously, Sissoko, he's out with injury, and I think also Ben Davies has been out with an ankle injury for Tottenham. Tottenham have made some signings though in this January transfer window. I don't think they've made any, of what I've seen anyway. Obviously they signed Jedson Fernandez from Benfica on an 18-month loan, was it, with an option to buy at the end of the loan, of course. Obviously, they recently confirmed the signing of Steven Bergwijn from PSV. That got confirmed earlier on this week. So I do presume that Steven Bergwijn, probably will be making his debut against Manchester City on Sunday. And also too, they did get Giovanni Lo Celso on a permanent. They got him on a permanent deal basically in that. So Jose Mourinho, since he got recommended in at Tottenham, has made 3 signings at Tottenham. But maybe in the summer he may consider making more signings for Tottenham basically. So like I said, Tottenham, can be a very, very good team. I think they did make the wrong decision though by recommending Jose Mourinho in, from my own perception anyway, because I think overall Jose Mourinho is a very, very good manager, because he's got a fantastic pedigree. He's won around 25 major honours in his managerial career as, Jose Mourinho. But, I just think he's not at the top level anymore, to be quite honest with you. Obviously, Jose Mourinho endured, 2.5 years at Man United, my club, obviously, and the main reasons why his tenure at Man United didn't work out is because I think we recommended him in too late. It was part of the bus football, and he had bad disputes with the board, and he had bad disputes with a lot of the top players. Obviously, don't forget Chelsea sacked him before he came to United, and that was his second spell at Chelsea, so he had 2 spells with them, because he had problems with the club doctor and that. But he is under contract with Tottenham until 2022, or is it 2023, Jose Mourinho on that. But I do believe he's finished at the top level. But I think one of the mistakes Tottenham did make was sacking Mauricio Pochettino last year. I don't think they should have sacked Pochettino. I know they've enjoyed a bad start. They've enjoyed a difficult season so far this season, and that they've dropped a lot of points. And some of the games, they should have arguably won, Tottenham. But, Pochettino was a very, very good manager. Even though he hasn't won out in terms of silverware, he enjoyed a fantastic 5.5-year tenure with Tottenham. Don't forget he got them to their first ever Champions League final last season. He also, got them runners-up a couple of times. He got them third. In his first season at Tottenham, he got them to the League Cup final. I think also got them 5th in the league. But of course, Pochettino did say last year when he got sacked from Tottenham, he wanted an immediate return to management. Don't forget Man United have been in for him. But he won't come in now anywhere, Pochettino, because obviously if we were to recommend him in before the end of the season, Tottenham, would be entitled to 10 million in compensation. It is due to the clause in Mauricio Pochettino's exit package, to be quite honest with you. But Pochettino could still get another job before the end of this season. I do not know, but that was one mistake Tottenham did make. But 3 players are now Jose Mourinho's, of course, or you can say 2, because they did actually get Lo Celso in on loan when Pochettino was there. But Mourinho is still inheriting a lot of Mauricio Pochettino's players who Pochettino recommended in and that. So take that into account, of course. And I think Tottenham have got some good players in their team. I like Kane. A lot of people say Tottenham are nothing without Harry Kane. I like Dele Alli. He's also a very, very good player. Harry Kane and Dele Alli are 2 main stars. But I think this season, probably Heung-min Son has probably been one of Tottenham's best players. Definitely. They got Tanguy Ndombele in last summer from Lyon. If I'm right, is he Tottenham's most expensive signing, or one of their most expensive signings? They got Serge Aurier. They got that Hugo Lloris in goal. He was injured earlier on this season. Their first choice goalkeeper. Obviously Tottenham, don't forget, lost Christian Eriksen. He was one of their imperative players. So Tottenham have got a pretty decent squad. But, when under Mauricio Pochettino, for the vast majority of his tenure, Tottenham were competing, in and out of the top 4. But then in the last couple of years, Tottenham did actually, become title contenders. But looking at it at the moment, they're not good enough to win the league. Maybe they need more signings in that. Obviously they've still got Daniel Levy in there. Don't know much about him, but I just know one thing about him. He's a very hard negotiator when, clubs go in for any of their players, and that, is Daniel Levy. So that's one thing about him, and all that. As for Man City, they've got a fantastic manager in Pep Guardiola. I think Pep Guardiola, is still going strong. I still think he's a manager at the top level. Obviously, I think Guardiola is as good as he is due to Marcelo Bielsa, who's currently the Leeds manager now. Obviously, Guardiola worked with Bielsa when he was younger. And obviously you can say now that Guardiola is following Marcelo Bielsa's philosophy. But Guardiola's won so much in his managerial career. Obviously he spent a lot of money as well. City have spent a lot more money, I think, than Tottenham. Guardiola has spent over £1 billion in his managerial career. But more than half of that has been spent on that Manchester City team, don't forget. City, I don't think have signed anyone in this January transfer window, as what I know of anywhere. I think they did sign Joe Cancelo last summer and that. But City have got a lot of good players in their team. I think Aguero's fantastic for them. I think Raheem Sterling's good, who they got from Liverpool. I think, Jesus is good. Sane is good when he's fully fit. I like, Ilkay Gundogan, Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva's been on form for them recently. So City have got a lot of good players in their team, definitely in that. And so yeah, I think City are going to win this game against Tottenham. I'm going to predict a 2-0 win to Manchester City. Definitely in that. But I think the last season as well, didn't they meet each other? Was it in the Champions League quarterfinals or semi-finals, if I can remember rightly? One of the games actually, was 4-3. But, like I said, in recent years, Tottenham's record against City has been, very, very poor in the league and that. And I think the last time City played at, Tottenham was back, when they won, was back in, how long ago was it now? Well, the last time they played them, I think, City did win by 1-0. But the last time Tottenham beat Man City in the league was by 2-0 in October 2016 and that. So, yeah. Just want to notify you as well, Tottenham did loan Danny Rose out to Newcastle, so he's on loan with Newcastle. He was at Tottenham for a while. Don't forget when he was younger, he began his career with Leeds United, and he was injured for Tottenham earlier on in the season. But yeah, I think Manchester City are currently going to win this game of football. Now, obviously, I've been keeping you up to date with all, obviously, the transfer news and all of that. I just want to give you some more news regarding Odion Ighalo from Shanghai Greenland Shinhu. Now, reportedly, Manchester United have agreed a deal in principle to get Odion Ighalo on a 6-month loan. This is according to Sky Sports, which is a very reliable source. And reportedly Man United may have to pay a loan fee of around $4 million. Tottenham have tried getting him on a 6-month loan today, but it hasn't materialised for them. So now reportedly he could be coming to Manchester United. Reportedly Man United will pay around a third of his £300,000 a week wages in China. So we'll pay him around 100 grand a week and that. So he could get this deal over the line. But if we can, I will be very satisfied, because Man United do need a striker. Because obviously, reflecting on the injury to Marcus Rashford, because Marcus Rashford is going to be out at least for the next couple of months. So that's very, very good if we can get a deal over the line for him. He's served a couple of years in China. He scored 46 goals in 72 games. Obviously before that he enjoyed around 3 years with Watford. So he has played in the Premier League, and he's the age of 30. So if we are to get him, he's a lot more likely than Joshua King, because I don't think now we're going to get Joshua King on the board, because Man United have ended their interest in Joshua King basically. Because we put a £20 million bid in earlier on today, and this £20 million bid has been turned down by Bournemouth, because Bournemouth have confirmed that they want around £50 million. Manchester United, I don't think, would be determined to pay that. But James Cooper said we was, thinking about increasing our bid for Joshua King. But I don't see him now coming in anywhere. Solskjaer believes that Man United won't make any more signings now. He thinks that's it. He thinks, Bruno Fernandes is only going to be the one that's only going to be, he's the only one that's going to, that way. We've got him on the board, but he thinks, we're not going to make any more signings, than Bruno Fernandes, basically. He's happy with the links, like he mentioned about, Joshua King. he doesn't see it happening. Eddie Howe came out earlier on today and admitted that, you know, Joshua King could basically leave Bournemouth. But, you know, like I mentioned, there's been quite a few strikers on our agenda. So, anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always. And take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.